Doing? It's Jeff Bessa from Charting Horse Value. Gonna do a new video blog. You'll find this on YouTube. You'll find this also on my blog page on my website, chartinghorsevalue.com. There's a page right here called blogs. You'll find it there. And we're gonna be talking about letter grade, okay, which is a tricky subject, and I'll explain why in a second. Now we're going to talk about Colonial yesterday. We use that chart as the example to discuss. By the way, you can get all my past charts, so I keep them for a week anyway. You click on past charts and you can pull down, for example, Monday's July 11th card. Okay, and so we're here on Monday's July 11th card, and you can see this is Colonial. July 11th, okay? All right, so before we get into letter grades, remember that when I used to go to the track and use my sheet, when I first started it, let me tell you the columns I had. I had the race, I had the distance and surface, the horse, the number, the morning line, the fitness, and the pace. I didn't have any of this. The pace column I had, it was looked a little different, but same purpose. PFTS percentage, PFTS odds, best odds, value, rank. That's it. I did not have a letter grade. I did not have these ES, LS. I did not have energy. I didn't have trainer, jockey, or form cycle. Okay. But of course, as things grew with my charts, I added things. But originally, it was pretty limited. And the chart was sorted by PFTS odds. So this chart would have been sorted first Simply Jack, second Tepper, third Street Fight. Okay, that's how the chart would have been sorted, and then these horses would have come in fourth and fifth. Commander Biz, Happy Giant. Now, if you look over here in the rank column, this fourth column here corresponds to PFTS odds. There's a blog on the rank column, and that's what. So PFTS odds first, second, third. That's how it was sorted, PFTS odds. Then over time, I really optimized this best odds column to really find horses that could improve to a much better performance than they've been run recently. And it was really good at finding long shots. And then I wanted to also, that's when I added trainer and jockey. And I show trainer and jockey distinctly here, okay, with two scores. It's a very good visual here. But I have another score for trainer jockey that's not shown on the chart that's weighted in with these two, PFTS and best odds, 33% each. And that becomes the top to bottom sort now. Okay, so Street Fight, who's the morning line favorite, gets shuffled down a little bit. And now Commander Biz and Happy Giant are third and fourth. So that's the top to bottom sort now. A third PFTS odds, a third best odds, and a third trainer and jockey. Of course, it's a good system. It helps me find value. Excuse me, I had a sneeze. But it's not perfect. And sometimes it misses, and I wanted to figure out, what is causing horses to miss. And, when should I be concerned about the horses I have ranked high in PFTS odds or high in best odds? And, these two columns, by the way, they're all based on win percentage. I'm trying to derive approximately their chance of winning and whether or not the horse will go off at odds higher than that and therefore give me some value. So, but, I'm trying to figure out, well, who's going to beat me? Well, so I did a new way of sort of analyzing the horse, and that was the letter grade. And it's a little bit of a check and balance. And instead of looking at win percentage, it's just a points-based system. And the horses accumulate points based on their ranks in certain categories and based on a few other fields you see in the chart. And they accumulate points, and depending on how high points they get, they either get a C, B, A, or a K. The K is the best they could get. Let's see if there are any K horses at Colonial. Yes, there is one here, Urban Fairy Tale. Okay, um, so this, those are the letters. Now, I'm going to tell you very, very confidently that K horses win more than A horses, win more than B, and win more than C, and C horses win more than the blanks. Okay, that's all factual. But that doesn't help you find value. For example, here, Flown, who ends up winning this race at even money, is the highest rated horse, is PFDS odds first, and is the highest rated horse in the race, most likely winner, but ends up going off at even money. Probably not the greatest bet. The horse does win at even money, but I wouldn't want to bet that horse to win as part of my system. So the best letter grade is not necessarily the best value, and there's really no correlation with value at all, very little, if any. It's just looking at more factors and accumulating points. Now, it still looks at these three the factors we talked about: PFDS odds, best odds, jockey trainer. It still looks at those three factors, but it also looks at energy, and it looks at Brisnet prime power, which is this first rank column, by the way. Energy is the second rank column. So Tepper, the 9, ranks first in both those categories. And second in PFDS odds, and nothing in best odds, doesn't rank in the top 3 in best odds, and ranks first in jockey and trainer, gets 3 A's and gets an A. So it's, even though Simply Jack is sorted higher than Tepper, Tepper is the horse I would be worried about if I was going to bet Simply Jack. And in this race, Simply Jack is probably the horse I would bet on. Okay, but it's a very interesting race. And let's talk about it for a second. First of all, you see Simply Jack and Tepper, they got really low PFDS odds, but they both get worse pretty substantially from PFDS to best odds. And these two horses, Commander Biz and Happy Giant, get significantly better in PFDS to best odds. So there's back races that these horses could run to that are extremely competitive today. And that's why there's all this value, because when I look at the value, I'm comparing the lowest one of these two to the morning line. So both of these two horses get value based on the PFDS odds, and both of these two horses get value. Quite big numbers, I might add. Anything over 10 is quite large. Those get really high values compared to the morning lines. So this race really interested me, and it actually caused me to bet a pick 3, which is one of the wagers I rarely do. But I wanted to beat this favorite and bet all 4 of these horses, which I did. So I used all 4, and Happy Giant ended up winning at 25 to 1. Okay, so this value at 25 to 1 would have been even higher. So let's go to the second race. Second race, again, if this were sorted by PFDS odds, Shambo would have been first, T in China second, and Still Alive third. And you can see that you could also do that manually with your head over here. And Shambo is 10 to 1 morning line, gets a big over-jocked, and really fits. Even on he does decline on the best odds to 6.4, which is still an overlay to 10 to 1. But I really like this horse. Now, Still Alive, the 6 gets scratched. That horse is out. The 4 is the top horse in the chart. Second horse in PFDS odds also gets an A, but it's coming off an 8-month layoff over here. A little bit of a concern. I mean, so Shambo is definitely the horse I like in this race. The horse to worry about is Red Pepper Grill, who's the favorite, but is kind of ranked low on my chart. Gets a poor PFDS percentage for a favorite, and is ranked low. It doesn't even get a letter grade. Barely misses getting a letter grade. So in my pick 3, I used only the 4 and 5. Okay? And the 5 won quite convincingly at about 4 to 1. And then in the final race, this is a race you could go a lot of different directions. But I ended up using the 1 and 3. That's it. I probably should have used the 2. I actually did use the 2 on one of my tickets, but not on the same ticket that I used the 1 and 4 up here. But I really should have used the 2 everywhere because the 2 has this really good early speed and looks dangerous from an early speed standpoint. I probably should have used the 2. Also ranked 3rd in PFDS odds. Gets a C, $5 of value. It was probably worth using. But I tell you, when they broke out of the gate, this horse, Beach Breeze, flew to the lead and set honest fractions. And Saturday Night Girl, I think, ended up dropping back to 3rd and really didn't show much of anything. I think Nicolar got scratched. Anyway, Flown won at even money. And the $1 pick 3 paid $5.09. Okay. All right. Now let's go. Here's a K plus. We won't talk about this one. This one lost, took second. The 1 actually, Mose Claire, beat the K horse, which, you know, I had the K horse ranked really high here, 0.6, 3 to 5, basically. I think the horse went off a 1 to 2. Probably not a good horse to bet on. Mose Claire ended up winning. Surya, by the way, was scratched. Let's go to race 5, though, because race 5 is interesting. And it's, again, shows, you know, how you really got to look at the numbers. You just can't go to these letter grades and just be done handicapping. They are very convenient. They are a shortcut looking at all these rank columns plus a few other factors, but they don't tell the whole story, okay? Let's look at this 5th race, 7 furlongs on the dirt. It's an allowance race. The 11 and 1 were both scratched, and so was the 2. The 11, 1, and 2 were both scratched. All 3 scratched. So now your top 3 horses in this chart are the 10, 3, and 8. Now, remember, going back to PFDS odds, the 3 is number 1 at 3.6, and the 8 is number 2 at 3.8. Both of them do decline going to best odds, but those are the top 2 in PFDS odds, and those 2 also are the top 2 after you scratch Sacred Samurai. Those are the top 2 in Brisnet Power and Energy. Okay, 91, 92, and I don't show Brisnet Power, but those are the top 2 if you take out this one. So these B grades are quite strong, might even get promoted to A grades once you move that to a 1, 1, 1. That'll stay 2. This will become a 2, 1 with a 1. Both these horses look pretty darn good. And Manolito looks like an underlay still. Manolito's still going to be an underlay. No value. And Ashab is coming off a 13-month layoff. That's clearly a concern. Anyway, the winner of this race was Hammerlane. I think this horse got bet down pretty substantially. Let me see if I remember. Hamlin, yeah, got bet down to favoritism at 1.5. Manolito was 4 to 1. If I was looking at that race, I would have looked. It's really not a good race to bet on. Okay. But and by the way, the DS score over here is a 1, and sure enough, it's not a great race to bet on. But this horse does win at 1.5. So looking here, race 7, you got. By the way, Largent wins here, gets the K. Largent is a horse that wins. But don't overemphasize this K. All right, the A is strong too. And K is just a very strong A. You got 4 ranks of a 1. That's why it gets a K. But look up here. The A horse is ranked 3rd behind the 2 Bs because of this Brisnet Power, because of this energy rating, because he's also 2nd in PFDS odds and 1st in jockey and trainer. So he gets this A. But when I do that top to bottom sort and I look at only the 3 factors, 7, 4.5, and then the jockey trainer. It could be very close to sort, but this horse is third. So it gives it, it's like I said, it's a check and balance. Like, who do you want to bet on and who are you worried about? It doesn't mean think you should bet the A horse or single the K horse. It just doesn't mean that. There's no automatic formulas. It's just another piece of information. There's nothing in this letter grade that isn't already in the chart that you're looking at. It's just kind of a cheat shortcut of everything that's in here and coming up with a letter grade using a point system rather than using the win percentage. It's different. So what do I want to hear? This is a blog at the bottom. You guys can make some comments. I hope I didn't confuse people. I could make changes. I could keep everything the way it is. I could make changes. For example, I could get rid of the Ks. I could call Ks A's. Just have them all A's. I still have A, B's, and C's. I also could eliminate the C's. Just have A's and B's. Maybe expand the range of the B's a little bit. Personally, I like it the way it is. I just caution people. The letter grade is very valuable. But make sure you look at all the factors when you're analyzing or handicapping the race. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you again soon.